There we go. So, hello everyone. Today, my guest is Duane Gill, aka Gillberg. How are you doing?
All right. How you doing today?
Really good, thank you. It's good that we got you on. We tried over the week, so it's good to get you on. It's kind of a crazy time at the moment, isn't it?
Oh my God, with this coronavirus and everything going on, it's just completely nuts. You can't do anything.
So it's good to get you on. We've been speaking to so many wrestlers at the moment. I wanted to actually go back to the beginning for you, which is where your love and passion for wrestling actually came from.
Oh man, my love and passion came as a child, man. Me and my father watched it. He used to come on one time a week, only on Saturdays at 4 o'clock. And we watched that thing every single Saturday. I don't care where I was, if I was at a park or whatever, and somebody said, "Hey, it's 3:30." I was running home as fast as I could because my father had popcorn pop and we were ready to watch it.
And for you, a lot of people, because obviously we all know you as Gilbert, but you actually had a stint in the WWE very early on in the 90s, didn't you? And you actually wrestled names like The Undertaker, Sergeant Slaughter, Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect. And a lot of people don't actually know that you had your earlier run.
Oh yeah. I started in there early, and yeah, I was one of the. They used to call them jobbers. Now they call them enhancing talent or whatever. But yeah, I wrestled everybody who's anybody.
So when you had your chance to actually go to the WWF, was that must have been a big thing for you because obviously it's the biggest promotion that was around. So was that kind of for you? Did you think if I really work hard here, I could actually work my way up in this company?
Oh yeah. But luckily, I was God gifted as far as professional wrestling goes. I had the talent. You know what I'm saying. Now some people have the talent, some people
Yeah.
don't have the talent. But I was lucky and had it. And my partner Barry Hardy, he took me to the Monster Factory. Barry taught me how to wrestle in his basement on a concrete floor. And then he took me to the Monster Factory for a tryout because of the fact that's how he got to go up there. Was Larry Sharp sent him up as an extra to do job matches. You know what I mean? So he got me in that way, and I did a tryout at the Monster Factory, and then Larry said, "Yes, you're definitely good enough to go up," and that's how I got into WWF.
So when it came to going to your earlier stint in the WWF, how did because you actually there was a few years before you came back as the Gillberg that we knew. There was a few years where you weren't with them. So were you released from your contract? Did you decide to leave?
No. I never, ever had a contract before the light heavyweight title. I was an
Oh wow.
extra. In other words, they would put Barry and I on the road sometimes for 20 days a month doing house shows and everything, but we never had a contract until I won the light heavyweight title.
And that's another thing that a lot of people, you were the longest reigning light heavyweight champion as well. So when you actually got the opportunity to know that you're going to have a title, did you kind of feel it must be a good feeling because it's a big responsibility, and they must have seen something in you to think, right, we're going to let him run with this and hold the title for 15 months.
Well, when I was told that I was going to win the title, I laughed right in Jim Ross's face. I swear I cracked up. I was like, I said, yeah, right. I said, come on, Undertaker, Paul Bear, Headbangers, where you guys at, man? Yeah, I know you're hiding in here somewhere. And I turned around, and Jim Ross was looking at me with a look like, what is wrong with you? And I looked at him, I said, Jim, you're not kidding me, are you? He goes, oh, no, son, this is a straight shoot. I said, well, let me think about it. Okay. And he goes, no, take time, call your wife. I said, man, I ain't calling nobody. I'm ready to sign that contract. I've had my butt kicked for damn near 15 years up here. I'm ready to sign a contract.
That's incredible. You just mentioned there that where you thought it was kind of a bit of a wind up. So backstage, was there a lot of pranks that people, wrestlers would play on each other? Was there a lot of fun that, we wouldn't have seen that went on backstage?
Oh, there's little pranks and all, but they're all harmless. Like maybe squirt some Edge shaving cream on you, so that as you're walking to the ring and you notice it's on you and you go to wipe it off, what's it do? It foams up. Now you're getting in the ring. You're like, what am I doing, man? What's this stuff all over me?
Who was
Yeah,
one of the
it,
biggest
it, it
pranks?
was all harmless.
Who was one of the biggest pranksters backstage?
Oh, that was Owen Hart.
Oh,
Owen Hart
really?
all the way. Oh, Owen was one of the best people you could have ever met in your life. He was awesome. And me, when they started pranking me, I looked at it this way. I was starting to be accepted now.
Yeah.
That's like a rite of passage. When they start pranking you, that means, hey, I like you. You're cool. You know what I mean? I'm gonna mess with you. If you were, let's say, a total butthead and nobody really liked you, nobody would mess with you. Nobody would, pull a joke with you. Nobody would really do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of people talk about Owen Hart. I mean, that's one of the biggest loss in the wrestling industry. He was just comes across from what you hear from people as an incredible person, not just a wrestler, but as a person. So do you have a lot of fond memories from your time and your kind of encounters with Owen?
Oh yeah. One of the funniest ones I remember is when they first started wearing. We call them the taxi driver outfits. Him and Coco Beware when they started wearing like those baggy pants with the suspenders.
Yeah.
Uh, they when they made them, they were like way too big the first time they did it, and we were wrestling. And they were pulling them all the way up to their shoulders and every. Oh man, we were laughing so hard. I was like, oh my god, how am I supposed to? I'm tagging my partner, going, how am I supposed to wrestle these guys, man? It was hilarious. Now, Owen Hart, I would say yes, is one of the biggest tragedies in professional wrestling. Because I guarantee, if he was alive today, he would have been one of the biggest stars in the history of wrestling.
Absolutely, it was a great loss. But what I wanted to go back to, obviously in the 90s, one of the biggest stars and powerhouses was that of Goldberg. Now, WWE obviously had the gimmick for you of Gillberg. So when they came to you and presented you with, right, you're going to be doing this gimmick, did you have any reservations about doing it? In regards to maybe offending Goldberg or how it would make you look in regards, because wrestling is something you're very passionate about. So did you have any reservations about it?
Okay, well, first off, they didn't come to me with it.
Oh,
I was doing the gimmick on the independents. Cause see what had happened was I was injured in WCW, and that's why that 2 years was in there where I wasn't up there before I came back. And when I started coming back, I was doing independents, and I was making fun of the wrestlers. I did the Underfaker. I wore a long wig and everything. Uh, I did Stone Old because I look exactly like Stone Cold. I mean, when him and I would watch the monitor together, we would go, "Dude, you got to move," because we look so much alike. And I did Stone Old where I took swimming foamies and made big braces on my legs and everything. Walked out with a walker and everything. And then of course I did Gillberg. Well, I was telling Paul Bear and Kane backstage one night when we were doing a house show. And I was telling them all about it. And I said, yeah, and I did Gilberg and Paul Bear. I still remember. He goes, oh, Duane Gill, you may have something there, boy. So to be honest with you, I have Paul Bear to thank for it because Percy must have went to the office and told them about it. Because the rest of the night, every time I would walk by, Paul or Kane, they would go, Gillberg, Gillberg, and make fun of it. So the next day, I went into catering because it was a TV taping, and I was getting my lunch, and everybody in there was going, Gillberg, Gillberg. So I said, heck with it. And I slammed my tray down, jumped up on the table, and went, crazy. Everybody laughed, and I thought that was it. Well, I came home, and 2 days later, I got a phone call, and it was the office. And they said, so you do a Gilberg thing? Yes, sir. Well, guess what? We're going to do it. Okay, whatever you want. And they really had no clue what I was going to do when I went out there. They had no clue. They just knew I made fun of the guy.
and did you ever have a conversation with Goldberg at the time? Did he ever approach you and say, "Hey, man, I'm not cool with you doing this. Can you stop?" Was there ever a conversation between you and Goldberg?
No, I didn't meet Goldberg till probably when he came to WWF. That was the first time I met Goldberg.
And
You
what was
know,
that like?
I walked up to him and he was talking. I waited and he turned around. He looked and he kind of looked back away and I tapped him and he said, "Yeah." I said, "I guess you've been waiting to meet me." And he goes, Oh, yes, I have. Put his hand on my shoulder, and that was about it. And then we had a little segment that night, and he did a bunch of pictures with me, and was kind of cool about it. But you could tell he didn't like me at all. And all the boys always told me Goldberg really wants to kick your ass. So fast forward probably 10 years when he got ready to come back. About a month before then, when everybody was announcing that he was coming back and everything, we were doing the big event in New York, a big autograph session. And I said, I want to go down and meet Goldberg. So the guy who brought me in, the guy who brought him in got together, and they said, okay. So I went down into the room where he was doing his autographs and all. And as soon as I walked up, he pressed me above his head. I mean, dude is ridiculously strong. And so we messed around a little bit there, and then he stepped me down. He said, hey, how you doing? I said, all right, man. I give him a hug and everything. And he said, hey, thank you. I said, for what? He goes, brother, if you wouldn't have been doing your thing all these years, they probably wouldn't have brought me back. Thanks for the run again. I said, my pleasure. But hey, let's do this match, brother. Let me wrestle you. I said, I'll make $100,000. You'll make $1 million. I'll be able to retire. We can go on happily ever after, and you killed the Gillberg gimmick. Well, he never did it. And like you said, about the longest reigning light heavyweight champion, I'm the longest reigning light heavyweight champion. And if you go into singles champs, I am 8th of all time. And that's if you go to WWF, WWF, or WWE. I'm the 8th longest reigning champion of all time, singles. If you add tag teams, I'm 14th.
So you got an incredible record. But I just wanted to go back to Goldberg. I mean, if you watch documentaries...
This is what kills me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is what kills me. I don't have a T-shirt, and I don't have a doll. Why? A Goldberg-Gillberg set would sell like crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
I everything I have done, everybody I know who has any pool or anything has tried to see about getting a doll. And from what we understand, there's something in somebody's contract that says he don't get one.
So from your conversations, was it something that he wanted to do? Was he up for that?
What? To do the match?
Yeah.
No, he never took it any further. I was begging him to do it. I would love to do it. I would love to do it and also to let him kill the Gillberg gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To let him win over. It's Goldberg. I've been making fun of him for 20-some years.
That would have been perfect before his return.
It really, and to be honest with you, it would be WrestleMania worthy. It really, really would. People would love to see that match. And believe me, I could really make the match look good. And I'm still in great shape. I could still do everything I could do before. Maybe a little slower, but...
I mean, over the years, that fans have just took to you, and you've made returns at various stages through the Raw reunions. And obviously, a couple of years ago, you did a segment with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. So when they spoke to you about coming back and doing something with those guys, because Chris Jericho is just a genius, So
he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, you must have been excited.
Oh, yeah. I love Chris. I've known Chris for years. Not close because Chris has always, been the bigger star than me. But, yeah, hey, Chris, how's it going? All that. Now, Chris is a very, very nice guy, great guy. Kevin Owens is a really nice guy, too. And there you go. Another thing. If you look, the doll thing, they made a complete set of Festival of Friends. Had everything, the picture, the whole thing, but what didn't they have in there?
No, you.
No Gillberg.
No. They need to sort that out, don't they?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I don't understand it at all. I really don't.
But you're actually retired now as well, aren't you? You had your retirement match against, he was on our show last week, James Ellsworth.
Yes, sir, I did. Yeah, and that was really touching. I mean, I started bawling at the end of the night because I didn't expect it to happen or nothing like that. But I mean, for 20 to 30 minutes, the crowd stayed there after the show, just clapping. Thank you, Gillberg. Thank you, Gillberg. Wrestlers that I had taught over the years were there that I didn't know, got in the ring and was hugging me, saying thank you for everything you did for me. You know, in this business, people only know you for what you did yesterday, you know, or today. After that, they forget about you. And I'm talking about other wrestlers and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for them to remember me, it was really, really touching, and it felt good because my whole thing in wrestling is I just want to be known as a nice guy. You know,
Yeah.
I tried to never screw over anybody and always tried to help everybody I ever met.
Well, I can say from we've had some phone conversations before this interview, and you're always so kind, asking how I am and how we're doing in the UK. So, I mean, I can vouch for that. But what made you want to retire? Because that must have been such a hard thing for you to do, because you've done this for so many years. So, what was it in your life that made you think, do you know what, this is now the right time to retire?
Well, to be honest with you, if it was up to me, I'd still be wrestling. I love it. It's everything to me. Wrestling is my life. It really is. I am a wrestler. I will be a wrestler my entire life till I take my last breath. But my wife and my son and my daughter, they all watched The Wrestler, the movie, and they said, "Oh my God, that's my dad, minus the drugs.
Yeah.
That's my dad. He's gonna get in the ring and he's gonna wrestle and he's gonna die. He's gonna die in the ring. That's my dad. I don't want that to happen." So they all got together and begged and begged and begged for 2 years.
Oh, that must have been
So
hard.
finally I said, okay, I'll do it. I mean, you know, when they're serious and they have tears in their eyes and they're saying, please, you're gonna die. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna die, but okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it for you. You know what I mean?
And that's obviously the two most important things in your life, your family and wrestling. So to kind of be between those two, that must have been something that really played on your mind. And I couldn't imagine it's something you came up with easily.
Yeah, no, I it didn't come over easily. It didn't at all. And see, James is a friend of mine. And I was like, well, you know, I I think I'm going to retire wrestling. I'm still going to do all my autograph sessions, personal appearance, anything I can do. I'll referee matches. I'll do whatever, you know, whatever. But I just can't wrestle, you know. So, and he said, well, you know, I own ACW. Let's hold a show for you, man. I said, all right. He said, who you want to wrestle, man? He said, I will bring anybody in you want to wrestle, Duane. And I said, well, how about you? He's like, really? I said, yeah, Jimmy, you're a great kid, man. You know, and the story's true. When I was doing jobs and on TV and all, and he was in elementary school, I worked for the school board during the week, but I would go do, you know, the shows. They would have superstars and all that every other week. You could go for 3 days and do TVs. So it was okay with my work. So here I am, a maintenance guy for the school board, and Jimmy's a little kid because I knew his mom. I went to school with his mom and all. And he's like, "Hey, Mr. Duane, aren't you a famous wrestler?" I said, "Well, yes, Jimmy, I am." And he goes, "Well, why are you here?" And I said, "Well, son, one day you'll know." And he told me, he said, "God, how bad do I know exactly what you're talking about?" He said, I never thought that I mean, exactly, you know, and, you know, a little bit, I kind of feel, you know, that conversation all might be one reason why he's a wrestler, you know, so yeah, I want to pass the torch, you know what I mean? And he put me over good, man. It was a really, really good match. And, he's the man. He's a good guy. He really is. Jimmy's a good kid.
And it was a very popular match. It went all over social media. It's got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views online as well. So for that retirement match, it's kind of, you couldn't have left on a bigger high, essentially, with the reaction that you got all around the world from people watching it.
Oh, really? I didn't know all his views were done.
Yeah, it went crazy. You need to check that out. I'll
I
send
didn't
you
know
a link
that.
after.
I am. Remember, you gotta remember my age. I'm kind of computer illiterate. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I just do a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Twitter, and that's about it. Skype. I mean, you seen the hassle.
It's
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I would love to see. I didn't know that. Jimmy now. Jimmy is a social media fanatic. He's on it all the time.
if WWE approached you now for a kind of a one-off return or a match, is that something you would consider if it was something that you felt was right and special?
WWE, WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, has always been so kind and generous to me. They fed my family for years. If they called me tomorrow and said, Duane, we got 60 days we need you, I'll say I'll be there tomorrow. Uh, I owe them a lot. They fulfilled dreams of a child. You know what I mean? I mean, God, man, you got to remember, I was a kid, a baby watching this stuff in my entire life. It's like basically watching baseball your whole life. And the next thing you know, you're on a team and you just won the World Series and you're walking around with the World Series trophy in your hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I won a title in the all I wanted to do was wrestle in the WWF. You know what I mean? So jobbing, I was more than happy. And that I guess is what made me good, is because I was happy and okay with everything I was doing. Because people would ask me, why do you do that? And I said, well, how do you get better? You get better by wrestling the very best there is in the business, in the biggest organization there is. Who cares if you're winning or losing? You don't know the daytimes before the show that we're all sitting in the ring and I got the biggest names in the world explaining to me how to do stuff. You know what I mean? For free.
And obviously, WWE at the time get a lot of bad press. So I wanted to ask you: do you kind of get some, even when you're not working for them? Is there a support that you get? Do you get entitled to things? Do they look after you well, be it emotionally, financially? Is it kind of like your contract's finished, that's it, or do they look after you throughout life?
No. When your contract's over, that's it. But now like your likeness and stuff like that, like I haven't been contracted for what, 20 years, 18 years, and I still get royalty checks, some royalty checks and stuff. Anything that has my face, my name, or anything on it, they still take care of you that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you don't get a steady paycheck. You don't get nothing like that. When you lose your contract, it's like losing your job. But what they do is they still give you royalties off of your likeness and stuff, like in the videos and all that stuff. So I say it's cool as heck, because I probably made 100 grand since I left there over all these years with royalties and stuff. You know what I mean?
Wow. And obviously, one of the biggest stars in wrestling is that of The Rock. And I always remember the story that you had, you, The Rock, and Goldberg, um, back. It must have been 2002 or 2003. So
Uh-huh.
when you knew you were doing stuff with The Rock, because by then he was literally the biggest star in wrestling. So you must have again felt such an overwhelming feeling that you're in such a big storyline with not only Goldberg but The Rock as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. But see, my whole thing was every time I was ever in the ring with The Rock, he was always so perfect that I used to see if I could crack him up. So if you remember in the Rock concert, when we first were going to do it, I was just supposed to stand there and tap my foot and click
Yeah.
my fingers, right? Well, I said, Rock, we're making fun of the guy, right? Yeah. But this ain't making fun of him. This is making fun of him. And I went, dancing all around the ring and on. He even laughed. He goes, oh, that'll do it. And he said, but we can't change it. He said, come on, let's go. So we went right into Vince's office. And Vince is like, yeah, guys, what do you need? And he goes, Vince, Duane wants to change the script. I said, oh, me. He goes, you came up with it. You know what I mean? He goes, what do you want to do? And I said, well, we're making fun of him, right? Yeah. Well, this is what you want to do. And Rock starts doing his deal, and I'm tired. He says, yeah. I said, what if I did this? And I started kicking all around and everything. He said, oh my God. Okay, you got it, Gil. Do it. So we went out in the ring, and when we were actually doing it in front of the crowd, and the one part of the song, if you remember, he goes, and your mama's a hoe. Well, I stopped, and I looked right at him, and unbeknownst to me, but I could see it, the camera zoomed right in on my face. Now, my face is the entire Titantron, right? And I looked at it and said, my mama's a hoe. He covered the mic up and held it down. He went, oh, don't look at me, giggle panties. Get your ass dancing around this ring.
And did you ever share any? I was gonna say, did you ever share any fun memories with The Rock backstage as well? What was he like as a person?
No, I was kind of I just kept with, you know, even though I got the contract and all that, I never really bothered the bigger stars, if you know what I mean. Always kind of kept my place, you know what I'm saying? Even though I did spots with them, we talked, we laughed, we carried on, but we didn't like go out to dinner or nothing like that, you know what I mean? Rock's a good guy. I can walk, I guarantee I can walk up anywhere in the world, walk up to him and go, Duane, what are you doing, brother? And give me a hug, and you know, great guy, great guy. If anybody deserves what he's got, he does. He really is as nice as you see. That's no lie.
Well, Duane, I've got to say a massive thank you for giving us your time today, because I know that you're actually still working at the moment and you're very busy. So to actually get this interview today was brilliant, and to talk about your career as well and all the things you've experienced, and hopefully it isn't the last that we see of Gillberg. Even though you've retired, I'm hoping that there might be another return left in you.
Oh, brother, I'd love to. I would love to. I'll tell you that, man. I love it. You know that, and you know. The wife, I'm sure, would let a match or two slide out. You know what I
mean? You have to use your charm and see if you can persuade them to let you do a couple more.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, my fans, man. I love my fans. It's there's nothing I like better than getting out there and signing autographs and just talking and meeting everybody. And because I know of, I mean, I was a fan my entire life, and you know how they call fans marks.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my philosophy of it. They're not marks because they're smarter than us. Because they said, you know, I really like wrestling. I'm going to pay $10 or $20 or whatever, or $100 and sit in this seat and watch these guys beat the hell out of each other. The real mark is the guy that goes, I don't care how bad it hurts, what I got to do. I got to get in that ring. Think of it that way. We're the real marks. The wrestlers are the marks. Think about it.
There we go. That's the your philosophy to lead us.
Think about it, though. Am I correct?
No, of course. But Duane, it's been brilliant talking to you. Hopefully, we'll see you again in the UK, because I mean, Comic-Cons and wrestling conventions here have just become quite big.
Well, brother, you got my number. You got my address. You know, anybody, pass it on, please. I would love to come see you in person, man. It would be awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for giving us your time today, and keep safe.
Hey, thank you so much, and you keep safe too.